Good morning or afternoon. It's kind of afternoon here for me. And I'm Crystal, and welcome to my channel, Homemaking on the Homestead. It's a really pleasant day today. It's not even 80 degrees out. It's probably mid-70s or something like that. There's a nice little breeze blowing, so I'm enjoying that a lot. So I decided to come out and do a coffee with Crystal under my favorite big old apple tree. Before I get started on today's episode, I wanted to say a great big welcome to all my new members. I got several, at least from my little channel, I got several new members that came from Heidi at Rain Country. She has a great channel, so if you haven't checked out her channel, I will post the link below. She gave me a mention, and a lot of people came from that. She was discussing laundry detergent. Last year I made a video on why I don't make homemade laundry soap anymore, and that ended up still gets a lot of traffic, lots of comments. Some people said thank you, now I know what my problem was with the homemade, and some people were saying well, you didn't give us any, alternative, or, just different comments, but it's been interesting. I have wanted to do a follow-up. So what was great about Heidi's video that day is that she has kind of come up with her own, she calls it her own detergent, and it doesn't use any soap. And that was the basics behind my video, is explaining the difference between soap and detergent and why soap doesn't work well for cleaning laundry. I have finally gathered up the ingredients I need to make her recipe, and I'm going to give it a try and see what I think. And eventually I'm going to have a follow-up video on that. But anyway, that was why a lot of people came to my channel. So if you're new, and you came from Heidi's channel, Rain Country, welcome to Homemaking on the Homestead. I try and cover a lot of variety in topics, all basically related to homemaking and homemaking skills. And I live on a little homestead. We have some chickens, we have a few goats, and we just kind of enjoy our homestead life. I used to have a lot more than I do now. Back when I had all my children, I have 8 children. They're all grown and gone. And so back when they were young, of course, we had lots and lots of animals, and everything from pigs to horses and all kinds of stuff. But nowadays we're pretty much slimmed down. My daughter and her husband live with us, and my grandkids, and so a lot of these animals are her projects. So today in Coffee with Crystal, I should mention to anybody that's new that my Coffee with Crystal is just a time to sit down and have a cup of coffee and visit with you all. I share random thoughts and bits and pieces of things going on in my life, and so when a topic comes to my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna chat with everybody about that. So one of the things that has gone on just yesterday, in fact, that was kind of scary. My husband stepped outside and realized that our sky was just covered in smoke, and you could smell it. It smelled like a campfire burning, and we got very, very concerned. I later was able to find out about 6 miles away there was a fire going. It had burned, at the point that I found out about it, it had burned about 3 to 4 acres. They had to call in helicopters. We could hear them flying over the top to put out the fire. So they got it contained, and it's out now today, and it's just a reminder that we're in fire season, and it has been so incredibly dry, much more dry than usual, and that has been one of the big concerns for many of us is the fire potential. I mean, we live all around trees and forests, and in 2016 there was a huge fire that went down. We live in a gorge, and it went down the gorge on the other side of the river, on the Oregon side, and that was extremely scary that year. So it's something that's still very much on our minds. But as of this morning, everything is fine. And I'm thanking God for that. Nobody's house got burned. There were some evacuations that had to take place, but everybody was able to go home and no structures were damaged. So that's a blessing. One of the things that I've been working on lately is sewing. It's been a long time since I pulled out my sewing machine and did some sewing. And so I am wearing this cute little apron that I made, and I do have a video coming up on it. It's a tutorial. I'm working on the editing still on it. It's kind of complicated. Don't know if it'll end up being 2 videos or just 1, but I made my own pattern and I did it in the most simplistic way that I could. And of course, once I had gone through the whole process, I realized, oh, I could do this different, I could do that different. If I did it again, I would do this. So I have fabric to make another one, so I probably will make another one making some of my changes. But in the meantime, my desire is to show you in the video how to make your own pattern and make a really simple apron. One of the things that has been going through my mind lately that I wanted to share with you is the topic of gentleness and grace. I really realized it for myself the other day. In my daily routine, after I get up, I have my coffee, I go for my walk, I do a little Bible study, and then I sit down and I write out this to-do list for my day. And all these things that I need to get done, aside from housework and some cooking and then whatever projects I'm working on, and do I have any videos to edit or film. And so this one day last week, I came up with this ridiculously long to-do list. And I knew in my mind, I doubt I'm going to be able to get all this done today. But yet, I also felt like, no, I can do this. I can get this done today. And I do this to myself quite often. I will over-plan for my days. And you know, when I had a lot of kids at home, my life was way, way busier, and I had to have very lengthy to-do lists because there was so much to always get done. And so I was always going and going and going and making things happen every day. And sometimes I feel like I'm still kind of stuck in that mindset, you know, make that long list and push myself. I got to the end of that particular day and I still had several things that I didn't even get to. And I started to really kind of get down on myself about why I wasn't able to get the things done that I needed to get accomplished. And then it just struck me, you know, I'm now at a point in my life, I don't need to work at that pace anymore. I don't need to push myself like that anymore. Goals are great. Being productive has always been my thing. I have always felt the need to be productive every day. But I don't need to be pushing myself and then ending up feeling like I have missed the mark. I need to exercise a lot more gentleness with myself and give myself a lot more grace. I could always give other people, my family, my children, the grace and the gentleness. But when it came back around to me, I somehow put myself at a different standard. It causes a lot of not only anxiety, but it causes, I believe, a lot of stress and frustration and unnecessary pressure, at least at this point in this time in my life. So now what I have been practicing is that gentleness. When I wake up in the morning and I am putting together my list, I now consider it my gentle list. What is a reasonable expectation for my day? What is a list that I know that I can accomplish unless something unforeseen happens? And I call it my gentle list. It has taken a lot of stress and pressure off of me. And mind you, it's only my personality type that puts that kind of stress and pressure on me. I don't feel that from anything else around me or from any person around me. I put it on myself. And so that's why I have decided to not put that on myself, but to put that just spirit of gentleness in how I plan my days. And also, I think the most important, and this would go for anybody, is that when you get to the end of the day and you realize, oh my gosh, I did not get done all the things that I had hoped to get done today, make sure you give yourself a lot of grace. I think life isn't meant to be always pushing and pushing and pushing, but to live in that grace and to live in that gentleness. I think there's a lot of peace in that, and the more peace that we bring into our life, the more joy we experience as a result. I'd like to think that not only should days be productive, but they should also be joyful. And if we're putting a lot of stress on ourselves or putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves, we're going to miss out on those days of gentleness, of joy, and of peace. I don't know if anybody else can relate to exactly what I'm saying, but I hope it speaks to somebody. And if you are a person that tends to carry a lot, put a lot on yourselves, how do you deal with that? I'd be interested to know that too. For right now, I feel like my motto is grace and gentleness, and a lot of gentleness. So what are those gentle goals today? What are your gentle goals today? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.